Oh man, am I super excited to bring this episode to you. I have the distinct pleasure of chatting with my budget besties. They are best friends, business partners, and master financial coaches who love talking about the B word. We're talking about budgets. They help women who make good money but have nothing to show for it set it up on an automatic budget system. Guess what, you guys? And it's built to fit their real life and big dreams so that they can be bougie on a budget. How fun is this? But one of the most fun things that I am so excited, and like as we get into this episode, you will hear my aha moment is when you make your bank your personal assistant by doing simple automations and you have zero tracking. So I'm bringing to you my budget besties. Let's get into it. Ever wonder what it really takes to build a business and a life that feels like yours? Welcome to That Big CEO Energy. I'm Callie, entrepreneur, operations whiz, and your go-to for the real, raw, and unfiltered side of business and life. Because let's be honest, entrepreneurship isn't just about strategy and success. It's about figuring out who you are in the messy middle, trying new things, well, just because you can, and creating a life that actually fits you. From solo deep dives to candid convos with powerhouse business owners, we're talking all about the highs and the lows and the why did no one warn me about this moments that come while chasing big dreams. So let's get uncomfortable, embrace the chaos, and make it happen. The budget besties have arrived to That Big CEO Energy podcast. Hi, welcome.
Thank you so much for having us, girl. We're so excited to talk about the B word.
Yeah,
Yep.
B word. We have some earrings in the house we're just doing the thing.
Yeah,
So
we're all in. We're all in on this, guys.
we're all
She wore them the other day because she has some too, and her kids were like, "The B word, mom." It's like, not that B word. Gosh, obviously it's the budget. Come on.
Yeah, that B word. So we are going to get into the nitty gritty of making your bank your personal assistant. And I know there's already eyebrows being raised because they're like, how do we do that? And how do we do it simply? Because most of us are mamas, we don't have time, and anything that extends like manual work, we're not about that life. So we're going to learn from Shayna and Vanessa all about how to do this. And I'm so very excited. I do want us to soft launch into this because we're all probably ready to learn. But I want us to take a minute to kind of walk through a little bit of how did you get here? I always love to hear everybody's story. And I know everybody that listens to the podcast loves to hear kind of how did we arrive here? What was the big twist in life? Give it to us straight, gals.
Well, I think you're right. And something that we've noticed, we didn't intend on it, but people kind of think it's fun to hear about our relationship because not very often do you find two women in business together.
Yeah.
So perfect. We have been friends since our boys. You said we're all mamas. We have lots of children over here, but they're old. The oldest boys are they were 4, and we've been friends. We've been friends since they were 4. Now they're 17. God bless. It took me a minute to get it out, but they're 17. So that's a long time. We didn't get older, so don't worry about that part. They got older. They used to be
26
like this,
forever.
and now they're all like taller than us. That's the longevity. That's when we started our friendship.
Yeah. And, when we first came together to do finances, it was a whole God story. And I was in a job that I didn't love. She was moving around the country and finally was coming back. And we decided to really help people with their finances. We knew that it was an area that really people needed some help in. And so we started teaching Dave Ramsey's Financial Peace University course. And we realized that there was a missing piece to the puzzle because he talks about budgeting. Like the very first class is, all right, now go home and do your budget. And we were like, okay, but they don't know how. the expectation is that they knew how, but they've never been taught. And so we realized that that was the missing piece, and we really needed to hone in on it and help people with their budgets. But we knew that they also didn't want to live on rice and beans.
Mm-mm.
Yeah, I love this. So when you dove into Dave Ramsey and realized like, and I do agree that is kind of like the piece of he has templates and he has all of the things, right? Like he's wonderful at putting that information out there. But I also have gone through a financial peace university, and I'll tell you thank you for saying that, because that was the first thing that I realized of, oh crap, I don't even know how to put a budget together. Like, what does that word even mean?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Budget, right? Like,
I mean, it's
know
the
I
B
have
word.
bills coming out, and it is a B word.
Yeah.
And I think we can often use the B word as like this derogatory. I mean, we do in other ways, but
This
we
particular
take
B
the
word.
word budget,
Yeah. It
particularly,
becomes taboo.
it becomes taboo and almost like
Punishment.
with the reflectors on. We don't want to bother it,
Mhm.
because if we don't bother it, it doesn't bother us.
Yeah.
And so we just go on with this nasty relationship with each other. And then eventually what comes. But I also think it's important that this also happens in business,
Mhm.
because if it's happening in our personal lives, that translates over to our business. So let's hop into it. Let's chat all things B word, because that's what we're here for. So tell us a little bit about uh, plainly how we can think about our budget both in our personal lives and in our business, just in very simple terms.
Yeah. So, if we're kind of sticking on the journey that Vanessa started to describe, we decided we really need to focus on that B word, because people don't know it. And it's a great, like, we can still like help people with their Dave Ramsey journey, but we'll just do this one part mostly. And to your point, he had a template. We used the template and we hated it. I'm not gonna lie. We hated it. We hated it. It did not like in our and as we grew in our business as time went on, our clients didn't like it. They didn't want to use cash envelopes. They didn't care as much about paying off debt as they did like
Mhm.
going on a vacation with their family. And so we had to modify things. And so we went out looking for a budget that we could use with our clients. And let me tell you, everything was ugly. Everything had boy words. The colors were stupid. It was really overwhelming. And of course, people don't want to budget, because I wouldn't want to budget when I look at those. So
Yeah.
instead, we made our own. Yes, we did. And we wanted it to be something that people might actually want to look at,
Mhm.
for one thing.
Yeah, and one of the things that we realized also is that they were all tracking. Like
Mhm.
all of the budgets out there, they say that they're a budget, but it's really a tracking mechanism.
Mhm.
And all these tracking apps as well. And we are not about that. We have businesses, we have lives to run, we have children, we have husbands, we have careers, we have like friend life. We have so much going on. I don't have time, and I don't want my clients to feel like they have to track every single transaction throughout the month to be successful. And so that was another aspect when we were looking at budgets. We were like, these are terrible. We don't want to do any of this. So, it wasn't in the plans to create our own budget, but that's what ended up happening to make it not just words and numbers on paper, because that's what you said, Dave Ramsey has a lot of templates. Great. It's words and numbers on paper. What do you do with it?
Yeah.
After you make a budget, what happens? And so that's why for us, it's not a budget. It's a budget system. And you have to have that whole thing in place in order for you to be successful with your money.
Now, real quick, our budget is very simple. So the reason we want it to be as simple as possible, and then we're going to get to how to make a bank your personal assistant, because what we know is things are way more complicated these days financially than you have more bills, more things, more streams, all that kind of thing. So we need to take advantage of the digital tools, the modern tools that we have. But our budget is so simple. I've been saying this week, I've been saying my 11-year-old would understand how to do it immediately. And I feel like that has always been a stopping point. When people look at these budgets, they're like, I don't understand what goes where exactly. I don't understand what to do once I'm done with this budget. What do I do with my hands? Our budget's super simple, 5 columns. And this is what we say. Like, the first step here is to simplify. Let's take the noise, the judgment, the shame, the crazy math, grossness, all of that out of it. We're going to make this, pretty and feminine and simple. And so it is your income. That's what we need to know. We want to know your debt minimums. We want to know your bills. Everybody kind of knows what a bill is. We are going to list out your spending. We're going to talk about that specifically, and your saving. Those are the 5 columns in our budget. It's that simple. It's all on one page. It's very pretty. It's very simple. And you really can't mess it up.
And we do it in that order specifically because sometimes you may not have any savings right now. That just may not be you, but you know you're going to have income. You know if you have debt payments, you know you have bills, that's a non-negotiable, and you know you have spending. So those you absolutely are going to fill out. And then the spending is like, or the savings is if we have anything left, then we're going to fill out our savings. But those are to save for everything that is coming up in our life. And so, but again, we know that the first four are absolutely happening. And but yeah, so having a simple budget on one page in 5 columns allows you to see all of your money at once. And it can't be scary. It doesn't talk about, like Shayna said, fixed variable needs and wants, none of that. It is we're putting we're putting the words and numbers on paper based on how you spend money throughout the month. You're either paying a bill or you're spending money or you're saving it. That's it.
So, my follow up question to that is a lot of people have an adverse reaction of writing things down, right?
Mm.
We're all digital. We like to be digitized. And I am a huge journaler. I am a huge advocate for putting things from the brain on paper. I do believe there is some psychology that goes behind that of when you can move things from your brain to paper, it just seems to work a little bit better. Is
Mhm.
that something that you all believe as a philosophy, or is it if I'm a business owner that is like, oh, wait up, I am not writing a single thing down. I want it to be on, an Excel or something. Do you also have that option for your audience?
Okay. First of all, I want to say, yes, we are a believer in that. I try to convince my daughter to make note cards to study. She won't
Yes.
do it. I'm trying to tell you, she
Good.
has a photographic memory. She's like, I have a photo. I just read the book. I'm like, hey, you know what else be stored up in your brain if you do it?
Yeah.
But anyway, it's
Write it
fine.
down.
Write it
Yeah.
down. I totally,
Write
the
it down.
psychology of that is great.
Yes.
However, our budget is available digitally, and then it's how we know that we're your people, what we're talking about. We made it so you push command P or control P, which is the print
Yeah.
shortcut. It automatically it's a worksheet, it's a spreadsheet, automatically goes to one page, very clean, very easy to print, because we do believe a lot of people want to
Yeah.
print it and they want to see it and they want to touch it, and that's totally fine. On the other hand, our budget does all the math for you if you keep it online as well. And so it
Yeah.
can be either way.
You
Yeah.
can transpose it. So like if you're the type of person that's like, I want to start off with writing everything down, you can print it out, write it down, and then you can go ahead and put it digitally, make it a digital format for yourself. But really having it digital is so nice because then you can pull it up on your phone, you can pull it up from anywhere. And it just allows you more flexibility. You can share it with your spouse and you guys can both have access to it at the same time if you need to. But yes, we totally believe in writing things down too. But
Amazing.
the
Yeah.
good thing is like ours, you can do both.
Yeah. One of the things that you mentioned was this tracking factor that seems to happen that, all the budgets want you to go through and maybe track your expenses for the first 30 days so you can really understand what your money is. If that is not something that you are encouraging the folks in your realm to do, then if I am showing up with a really super messy budget, I have no idea what my income is, what I'm spending. How do we sort of work through that together to still understand, what's coming in, what's going out, sort of thing, and be able to get a framework behind what's happening?
Well, what we'll say first of all is tracking is not doing any of those things you just said. You can't understand anything. All you're doing is notating whatever already happened, right?
It
Yes.
happened in the past.
Yeah. So it's okay. So if you are wanting to look forward and make a plan and actually know what's happening with your money, then you're going to budget. That's the pre-plan. Tracking is seeing what happened afterwards, right? So that's what we want you to get it all on one paper, one piece of paper, one sheet, whatever you want to call it,
I love this.
to be able to see it all at a bird's eye view. You're going to see your income. This will be the first time for most people that they've seen all of their bills on one piece of paper. They don't even know how many subscriptions they have, right? Or they even don't even know how much they make in a month, right? And so all of that will be on one paper, and then you will start to be able to set up our system to make it happen automatically.
Yeah. So we have a basically 3-part system, like Shannon mentioned at the beginning. The first one was that making it simple on one page. The second part, what you're kind of talking about, is to separate. So instead of tracking every single expense that you have throughout the month, we want you to do a 90-day audit really quick on a regular month. Don't do Christmas. Don't do Thanksgiving. Don't do a regular month, and just go through and go, okay, how am I spending money? What was it? What was I doing? Because there's two questions that you want to ask when you figure out those numbers is what am I doing and what do I want to be doing? Right. So if you are naturally spending $2,000 a month on eating out, that's fine if that's what you want to do. But when you see that number and you're like, that's gross, I don't want to do that, then decide, okay, I think we can probably scale it back to 1,000. So those are you're getting numbers, you're gathering data by doing this 90-day audit to just see how were you spending money in the past. And then once you have that, then girl, the magic happens. We are putting in our spending section of our budget, we're doing categories. Okay. So you have gas and groceries category, you have personal spending money category, you have dining out, goofy golf, family fun, whatever you want to do, all the other stuff, entertainment, all that category. And then if you have kids, you're going to have a line item for kids.
Yeah. And so this is why you don't need to track. So we want you to have separate bank accounts. We'll get into that here, but you're going to have a bank account that the certain amount of gas and groceries money goes into that. A certain amount of money goes into your bank account called personal spending. A certain amount of money that you budget, right, you plan for, goes into your restaurants or whatever you want to call it account. So it's like Dave's cash envelope system, but it's digital. Mm-hmm. Okay. And you don't have to track anything because it's all tracked in there for you. If you want to go in your restaurant account, scroll it and see where you spend all your money at Chick-fil-A or wherever, like you can do that, but you don't need to. All you have to do is just stick to that amount of spending. Mm-hmm. And by the way, while you're doing that, while you're just sticking to that amount of spending, your bills are over here, like in their own little fortress, in their own account with the money set up to pay them over there. They're not getting messed up. And this is what's so important. A lot of people think they have a spending problem. They have a disorganization problem is what we found. That all by itself, that one black hole transaction, one account is what's messing you up. Separating, like Vanessa said, is going to be a game changer. It's going to eliminate the need to track anything. And that's why like we're so passionate about it.
And this may be the first time you're hearing have separate accounts, but it's no different, like Shayna said, than having the cash envelope system, Dave Ramsey, grandma, like all in the back of the days when they used to have utilities and mortgage and all that. We're kind of taking that concept and like Shayna said, digitally in the 21st century here. But think of if you're a visual person, okay, you have all your income coming into a checking account that's paying all of your bills. Okay, that's paying all of your debt payments, paying all of your bills. Then from there, you're sending it to your spending accounts. So you know always that you have money for gas and groceries. You know that you're transferring money into your personal spending account for you to go to Target, for you to take your girlfriend out for coffee, for you to get pedicure, whatever you want, right? And then you know that you have a certain amount of money to go have fun, take the kids to Chick-fil-A. You get to go to date nights with your spouse. That is in your entertainment, your dining out account. And then if you have kids, they need money. Why? Because they will steal all of your money if you don't give them a certain amount of money throughout the month. So you want to always have a line item there for your kids.
I love this. And I love that we're really nailing it down. I don't know if anybody else is coming to this realization while these ladies are talking, but this is how simple it can be. And what I'm hearing you say is when your income comes to one account, and you have a budget that you know exactly where you're sending all of your dollars to and how much it's going to be, that's the 10 minutes, 5 minutes, however long you take to just move it over. Yeah. Is that really how simple it is?
But wait, there's more.
Yeah,
remember that?
I know. We're in an infomercial.
Thing. Here's what's more for me. And I'm so excited to hear this is because we both serve on both sides of our business. We serve you, the ambitious, purpose-driven woman who just literally wants clarity and wants to be calm so that when your money is coming in and you know exactly what's going out, it's like, I don't think you all are registering when you hear these ladies, but there is a calmness that happens within your soul that when you know exactly what is happening in your personal life, in your business, there's something under the deep layer that, like, there are no words to describe that feeling because you are able to do so much more in the other areas of your business and the other areas of your life without that underlying thinking of, oh, great. Now I got to go home and spend my 2 hours
Mhm.
tracking everything that I just went and spent. Like who wants to do that? So give us the more. What are?
Well, I want to hit on that really quick because you immediately picked it up. And this is how we know that you are our people. Because we have some people that hear, we want you to have separate accounts and they're like, oh, I'm done. I'm checked out. I'm not doing that.
Yes.
But it's because your money, you're sitting in the checkout line going, did the water clear? Did I pay the daycare bill? Did that check? Actually wrote a check for property taxes. Did that go through? So how much do I actually have to spend on myself? Oh, I'm just going to swipe my credit card instead and hope that everything works out.
Mhm.
And some people, they are not sure about opening up separate accounts, but it really is where everything becomes super clear and super calm because knowing that you have money going over there, those are your little mini budgets. So think about it. You made one big budget for the month, and now you made little mini budgets for those categories. And that's it. That's all you have to worry about is living in the spending section of your budget, knowing that all of your bills are being taken care of. Imagine that freedom month to month.
Yeah. And I want to go back to what you said, because what people are doing, they think about the B word. They're like, you stay over there, I'll be over here. And you think you're somehow saving yourself, but your brain has all these wrecking balls in it. To your point, it's heaviness. It's like low key anxiety all the time running because you don't know your numbers.
Yeah.
But we're trying to, like, if you look at our budget, it's literally pretty. Okay. Literally it's pretty, but also it's simple. It's easy. We want to take that stress away. We want you to have that clarity, that peace, like you said, that comes from knowing that everything is taken care of. Okay. So the more what you said, the other thing she picked up on is 10 minutes. If I set this up in 10 minutes and it's done. Okay. We have the analogy of like going to the gym. If you have this goal in the new year, you have to go to the gym January 1st, January 2nd, January 3rd, January 4th, January 5th, January 6th. You have to go every day in order to hit your goals, which is kind of rude. Okay. Here, what we want you to do is set your budget up. Like we said, it's on one page. It can't be that scary if it's just one page. And then you're going to have those separate accounts, and you can actually set your bank up, who's going to be your personal assistant, to make those transfers automatically on payday. So because you're going to have your budget, you're going to know how much needs to stay back in the bills account. And then on payday, your groceries account gets funded automatically with a transfer. Your spending account gets funded automatically, and your entertainment, whatever spending categories that you have, the money goes in there automatically. You don't have to do anything. Your bills are getting paid automatically. You just go to, wherever it is you like to eat and Chipotle, and you just swipe your card because you have money and you don't have to do anything.
Yeah.
And you're still doing all the things that you mentioned. You're taking control. You know where your money's going, but you don't actually have to be busy about it.
So your bank becomes your personal assistant. You have set it up. You make the budget, and then yes, I know. You go in there, you make the transfers, automatic, reoccurring, to go fund your life how you want it based on what your money allows. And girl, all you have to do is swipe the card. My husband gets paid every Wednesday afternoon. All of my transfers happen Thursday morning. I don't do anything because I already set it up in 10 minutes, like months ago, right?
I don't know if anybody else's mind is blown, but I'm literally sitting here with a blown mind. Yes. I mean, I have, just full transparency for everybody that is listening, I have a separate accounts-ish, right? And maybe you're that person too, where you're like, oh yeah, I mean, I have a savings, and then I have like, my other little accounts, but I don't necessarily drill it down to this. And I know some of us have credit unions that don't necessarily do this in a friendly manner. I'm raising my hand. And I'm just calling it out really quickly because I know that that's probably, I'm not the only one on the planet that's going through this. So here's the thing. Find another home, A, or B, I think it's worthwhile taking some time to even go to your credit union, sit down with somebody and say, look, like, this is how I need my stuff to function. Can you help me out? So I just wanted to quickly shout that out for anybody that's listening, that maybe you're like, well, this episode's in the trash because that's not how my bank is set up. It might take a little bit of legwork in the beginning, like an hour or so. But listen, from what I'm hearing and what you're telling me is possible, it is so worth the while. So thank you both for sharing your brains, because this has literally changed my life, and now I have a little bit of homework.
You're welcome. So listen, I want to say really quick about the banks.
Yeah.
This is just like hiring a financial advisor. You're hiring a
Yes.
CPA. You're hiring a bank to do something that you want, a job for you, which means you're in charge. They're not in charge. So find a bank that's going to do what you want them to do. Or like you said, have a conversation with them. But we have found, been doing this for 6 years, right? Years. We have never found a client that couldn't find a bank that let them do this.
Yeah,
So
sure.
it's possible.
Yes. Yeah. And I think the other thing too, just on, we lived a little bit in personal lands, but it is also, for our businesses as well, right? Like if we can just speak a little bit on that in terms of we have clients that I'm just thinking out loud, even for my business, I have clients that funnel in, right? I get all of my transactions at the top of my month. That's how my clients pay me. And then I do have an account where all of my subscriptions and all the stuff and things and my transfer into my personal bank happens automatically. Side note, friends, I'm just going to say this out. If you are an entrepreneur or a businesswoman and you are having your client payments go into your personal account, I want you to stop this podcast right now. And I want you to go and open up a business account because let me tell you, it is so much easier on your tax person, but also as a legality move, please do that. So back to what I was saying, I see this too function in the businesses of having separate accounts so that you know exactly where everything is going. And so can we chat a little bit about how we not only as a business owner make this personal assistant come to life, but also what does it mean for us in terms of being able to save a emergency fund inside of our business for ourselves?
question. Yeah. So we want to work with every single one of your people to help you because here's the deal. You have the B word in your personal life. And then all of us have been like, oh, let's double down on that and have a business budget too. I don't even want to do my personal budget, but let's add a business
For
budget. So
sure.
we get it. But fortunately it works very similar.
Mhm.
It's very similar. We have, we have several podcasts people can listen to specifically about business budgets, but it's going to work similarly. But what you need to know is you need two budgets, one for your business, one for your personal. Your business budget, we need to see what your business costs every month. And then we're going to have a separate account for income to see what you make, because to your point, it does need to be separate. The other thing, most people don't even know what they're making in their business a month, so they can't forecast anything.
Mhm.
There's a lot that we can get into. But either way, your business budget can function the same way. It can be paying your bills automatically. It can be sending money to your spending and savings automatically, which I do want to say we didn't touch on, but savings buckets are savings accounts for specific purposes, travel, Christmas, all those things that you forget about. Those can also be funded with automatic transfers every month according to your budget, both in the business and in personal.
Yeah. So when we're talking about business, like our budget, we have 90% of our clients are all entrepreneurs. Just because you attract who you are. And so we not only do their personal budget, we do their business budget because like Shayna said, it works the exact same. And when we're talking about having an emergency fund for your business, you necessarily don't need a huge emergency fund when you have these savings buckets set up for your business, because it's really important. We actually do our business, model it after somewhat like Mike McAllowitz's profit first system.
Okay.
And so, it's the same thing. You have multiple accounts for your savings. One is your profit. The other one is for taxes, so you can pay quarterly. Another one for annual bills, because we all have annual bills in our business, licenses, CPA fees, all of that. And we need to be saving for that. It's just as important as a monthly bill. So just because it's annually and you have $800 due in 1 month, you're like, oh my gosh, how am I going to do this? I just spent all this money for, something else. No, we want to be able to save for it on a monthly basis. And then you have personal development, professional development, things that you want to pay for and invest back in your business. You want to be saving for that. Maybe, every September you spend $5,000 on this marketing because you have a boot camp. Well, instead of spending $5,000 in that month for it, let's spread it out. Let's be saving for it on a monthly basis. So when you add in those other savings buckets in your business to be doing it on a monthly basis, not just in the moment, then your emergency fund for your business becomes a little smaller because you're already saving for those very specific things.
Yes, I love this so much. Ladies, where can we, if I am still leaving this podcast with my head spinning and I need a little bit of hand holding and a little bit of help, where can I get in touch with you and what do you have coming up that maybe I can jump into?
Okay, so we have a couple free opportunities that we want to give everybody because maybe their minds are too blown that they need a little more before they're like, what did we just do? What just happened? So obviously we have a podcast, Financial Coaching for Women, where we love to talk about the B word. We have a little mini boot camp that they can take. It's like 3 days, 20 minutes each training. So they can kind of wrap their mind around it a little bit more. And that's at budgetbesties.com/start. But
that's going to go into really quick. Then I'll go more into like that simple, separate, and automate system.
Amazing.
Okay. And then also we would love for them to come to, if they've listened to and go, okay, I already know I want this budget. Like I know I need it. This is what's going to help not just my personal life, but my business life. They can go to budgetbesties.com/big CEO and check it out there.
Yeah. So our budget system is, perfect for you guys to get and to wrap your brain around. And they can get that there. It's a business write-off. Might as well grab it. But
it's also less than a trip to Target.
Yeah. And that's where a lot of, if you're a DIYer, if you're like, just give me the information, which you probably are, get that. We do private one-on-one coaching. And so some people are like, I will do that. We actually recently decided we will never buy a course again. We're working with one-on-one coaches because we need to go further faster. I don't have time to consume. I need you to tell me what to do. I need you to hold me accountable. That's what we do with coaching. And so normally we don't really talk about that much, but when you have big CEO energy people, I feel like they might resonate with that. And so I just wanted to, but they can still find out about that at budgetbesties.com/big CEO.
Yeah, because sometimes you just need someone to do it for you.
Yeah.
It's like,
you know
what I mean? It's like, I can do it. I get it. But can you just do it for me? I'm going to set this time block aside every month for us to do this. If you can do it, because I don't have time. And that's what we're here for.
I love that. Lots of different options with whatever lane that you're traveling in, because we all know that, it doesn't make any sense to make such good money, but literally have nothing to show for it. So that's what they're here designed to do. I'm so glad that our paths have crossed and you were willing to come on and chat all the things, even though it is so simple. You guys, can we please not make a habit out of making money taboo anymore? It is 2026. We're going to let that go. Yes. So thanks so much, Shayna and Vanessa. And it was such a pleasure to have you.
Hey, friend. Thanks for hanging out with me today. If something in this episode clicked for you, I want you to shoot me a DM over on Instagram. The link is in the show notes. Let's chat about how you're making the messy middle work for you. If you loved what you heard, would you mind sharing this episode with a friend who needs to hear it too? And drop a quick review if you don't mind. It helps get the word out, and I appreciate it more than you know. Catch you in the next one.